So now that we know a little bit about complex numbers, we also know about quadratics. What happens if we have complex solutions to a quadratic equation? So that's what we're going to discuss here. Remember, the whole point is that any quadratic equation, so anything of this form, I want to be able to solve it. So that's the goal. We want to be able to solve that. Just do some examples. So first one, 3x squared minus x plus 8 equals 0. Now we have options, right? You could try the square root method, well that's not going to work. Just try some factoring if you want. Try completing the square, that's fine. I'm going to use quadratic formula. I know it's going to work, might as well just go for it directly. So the quadratic formula, what does it say? Maybe over here to this side, I'll write my a, my b, and my c. So my a is 3, my b is -1, my c is 8. So the quadratic formula says the opposite of b, plus or minus the square root of b squared, minus 4 times a times c. Okay, and then what about on the bottom? I get 2a, so 2 times a is going to be 6. Now let's simplify this just a little bit. 1 minus 4 times 3 times 8. So what is that going to be? It's going to give me a -95. Well, that's bad, right? We said that before, if we had a negative under the square root, there's no real solutions. That doesn't mean there are no solutions, because our work from complex numbers tells us this is really the square root of 95 times I over 6. Well, that looks a little bit better. So what are the two solutions going to be? X is either going to be 1 plus the square root of 95 I over 6, or x is 1 minus the square root of 95 I over 6. Those are our two numbers. Now they're complex numbers, I'll give you that. Can't really type those in your calculator, but those are numbers nonetheless. So those are the solution to that equation. Okay, try two more of these. How about x squared plus x plus 10 equals 0? I'm going to use the quadratic formula again, off to the side here. A is 1, b is 1, c is 10. So from the quadratic formula, my answer should be the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared, which is 1, minus 4 times 1 times 10, all over 2 times 1, which is 2. Okay, now let's see what happens underneath that radical. So I get 1 minus 40. That's -39. Now that means that there are no real solutions, but there are complex solutions. Now how do we write those? We'll bring that negative out as an I. So I get the square root of 39i. So what are the two solutions then? -1 plus the square root of 39i over 2, or -1 minus the square root of 39i over 2. Those are going to be my answers. Now I agree there's no real solution to that problem, but there is a solution, it's just complex. One more. How about 2x squared plus 2x equals 8? Now let's review for just a minute. If I'm trying to solve a quadratic equation, what's the first thing that I have to do? If you said set it equal to 0, you would be correct. Oh, sorry, I meant to have a -8 there, make that positive. You have to have it set equal to 0. If it's not set equal to 0, we're not going to be able to solve it using the quadratic formula. Now, what's another thing you could do to make your problem a little bit easier? Just divide everything by 2. Dividing everything by 2 makes it a much easier problem. I don't have all these 2's and all my numbers are a little bit smaller. So, first thing, quadratics have to be set equal to 0. Okay, and then if we want to make our life a little bit easier, let's divide everything by 2. Did you have to do this step? Absolutely not. You didn't. It's just going to be easier to work with smaller numbers. So let's solve this. What's my a, what's my b, what's my c? Looks like 1, 1, 4. If you want to try it, with that original one, 2, 2, 8, that's fine. Go through and try it, you're going to get the same answer. So given these numbers, I'm going to get, my answer is -1 plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times, 1 times 4, all over 2. And what's 1 minus 4 times 4? I think it's -15. And we don't like to have negatives under the radical, so we'll say -1 plus or minus the square root of 15 I over 2. Okay, so now what's our answer? Don't have any real solutions, but we do have solutions. They're just complex. I got -1 plus the square root of 15 I over 2, and -1 minus the square root of 15 I over 2. So those are going to be my answers. So the reason we care about complex numbers is because now we can solve any sort of quadratic equation you throw at us. Just that introduction of the square root of -1, so the introduction of I, gives us the tool that does that. So now we can solve any quadratic. Might have complex solutions, but that's okay.